But another beautiful thing which is coming is version 1.2 in ONDC. It is definitely very exciting because this is a major upgrade that we are seeing after 3 months, actually after 4 months of the last version upgrade, which happened sometime in March this year, which was the version 1.1. So ONDC moved from version 1 to 1.1 in early part of this year, and middle of this year, sometime in this month actually, ONDC is going to move from version 1.1 to 1.2, right? Now, before I get into what is ONDC, what is version 1.2, let me tell you a little bit about Plodge. Like Plodge is basically the largest ONDC Rails infrastructure company in India right now. We power both the buyer app, seller app side. We give a very feature-rich bundle solution to our clients, which gives them a very fast go-to-market with a very rich product suite. We also have RSP and IGM solutions, happy to, chat. My team will be happy to chat with you, any of you interested in it. Now, of course, these are the these are the, networks which are live right now: retail, logistics, mobility, and fintech. Fintech is coming, it's not live yet. But they definitely activity in retail, definitely active in logistics, definitely activity in mobility happening right now. And in retail, B2C, B2B, both are, have been launched. B2C is moving to the next version here, which is version 1.1 to 1.2. And these are the products that we have across, the Node app, which is primarily for seller app and buyer app, Node Dash, which is a IGM product that we have, Node Pay, which is RSP product that we have. And another very interesting, few interesting products which are coming is B2B product and fintech product. But we also are launching we believe is gonna be very impactful product, is enabling voice commerce, in ONDC through AI. So that's something, we will announce, as soon as it's launched. Now coming to the version 1.2, right? So version 1.2, as I said, version 1.1, we are moving to 1.2, and this is a major upgrade which is happening. And these are the things, primarily, if you look at it at a very high level, these are the things in these four buckets which are happening. Major change is in the catalog, how the catalog is published, how the catalog will look to customer, how customers can buy products, and a lot of small things like items. Let's say in FMB, what happens is that the breakfast has a different availability. You may see, let's say, poha in the morning, but poha may not be there in the dinner, right? So there is this concept of item which is time-based availability during the day itself, which what is addressed in this 1.2 release, right? Now let's look at bucket wise, like bucket wise catalog, right? Now full refresh and incremental refresh is primarily if you are the implementers and if you are playing a role of a network participant in ONDC, this is something that will impact you. But from a customer and the seller, it's primarily, it is a mechanism in the way that catalog is shared between buyer and NP and seller MP. It's nothing to do with seller and the buyer here, right? So they will not see that impact. But full refresh, one of the major changes is that full refresh can be scheduled, and it can also happen through a catalog link, right? So currently what happens, the whole catalog comes in the whole payload. It comes as a big payload, and it is sometimes difficult to process it, right? So in this, what ONDC has done is that you can actually zip that and put it on a cloud or S3 or, some location. And then only the link of the catalog goes from the seller, NP to the buyer NP, right, of the seller. Another interesting thing which ONDC has done in this is that you can actually once the buyer NP gets, the buyer app gets the catalog, in the response they actually share the link of the seller's store. So they can actually share the link that, hey, at this seller link your products are live, and you can see, right? And it's a big thing because a lot of sellers today, they are blind that whether my product is live on the other side, or whether something has been consumed, whether my catalog has been consumed or not. So in this, the buyer app actually can send a link back to the seller app saying that, hey, here is the link of the products which are live of the seller. Incremental refresh. Now, incremental refresh again was a big ask from the buyer NPs and seller NP. Basically, both were asking that we need a way to incrementally refresh our catalog, right? Now, let's say Pizza Hut is coming through, one of the seller apps, let's say, Idea Masters or Magic Pen, right? And they have one of the margarita pizza, which basically is now, the inventory has changed, or the price has changed of it, right? Today's world, basically, they will have to push the whole product, and the buyer app has to basically take the whole product dump, which has the price, description, attributes, returnable, cancelable, a lot of other, other things, nutrition value, all that FSSAI, all that big, bulky, payload that they have to take. And that's the only way Pizza Hut today can tell the buyer app, that's a Paytm, that, you know, my price has changed or my inventory has changed. Right? In incremental refresh, actually they can, as soon as the inventory changes, as soon as the price changes, only price and inventory can be exchanged from the Pizza Hut to the Paytm, right? Which is a big thing because now inventory syncs can happen frequently, and therefore out of stock issues that you may find happening in the network today is going to get reduced, right? So this is incremental refresh is something, is a big thing actually, which ONDC is introducing in version 1.2. Um, on the catalog side, variants, another, variants and customization was a big ask from a lot of seller apps and even buyer apps, right? Now, variants is primarily, if you look at, for example, let's say an Alan Solly, T-shirt. It can come in small, medium, large, and all those things, right? So small, medium, large are the variants, but Alan Solly T-shirt with the color and other things remain the same. This is that when I have a customer, I go to product page, I see size as one of the options, or even color. I can have size and color as two different variants, which so I don't see like 7 different products of Allen Solly. I'll see only one product, and then I go there inside. I see size and color options, which I choose, and then I buy. Right? Today, basically, if you go to any of the buyer apps, for the size, you will, for let's say SML, you will see 3 different products. Allen Solly T-shirt small, Allen Solly T-shirt large, Allen Solly T-shirt, extra large kind of stuff. But with variants, is gonna be a single listing, which is how Mintras of the world and Flipkart and everyone shows the product, right? Then customization. Now, customization is something, of course, goes across categories. You can have customizations in any of the category, but primarily restaurant, F&B business, there's a big, it was a big ask from them. Add-ons, the concept of add-ons, that I, as a customer, if I'm buying a pizza, I want a hand toast pizza, or I want simple wheat crust pizza or something like that, right? Or I want a topping of you know uh, you know pepperoni, or I want topping of jalapeno or pineapple. I should be able to add, right? Or if I want like extra cheese or something, I should be able to do that, right? Today, this in today's ONDC network, concept of these add-ons customization is not there. You can't do that. It is not possible. If you're buying a pizza, it would say hand toast, pepperoni pizza kind of stuff, right? So you can't customize it, right? Or you have multiple listing of based on a different customization. So customization is a big thing which is coming to support the restaurant category, the F&B category. Uh, Now, if you go to any of the Swiggies of the world, or the Matters of the world, if you go to a particular restaurant, you will see a menu, you know, breakfast menu, lunch menu, and then dinner menu, and then you may have like idli in the breakfast also, idli in the lunch also, idli in the dinner also, but poha only in the morning, or biryani only in the dinner or something like that, right? Custom menu. As a seller, as a restaurant, I have this menu. How do I enable the buyer apps like Paytm or Misho, or Spice Money to show my custom menu, right? So this whole concept of menu display, and how can I sequence, idli being on the top, and dosa being at the second, and those kind of stuff, is a big concept which ONDC has introduced in this version 1.2. And I talked about time-based items and those kind of stuff. Now, some items don't have the quantity. It also has another unit of measurement like milliliter, kgs, like atta will be in kgs, right? Or if I'm buying a shampoo, it will be in milliliters, or those kind of stuff, right? So there's a concept of unit of measurement which ONDC is introduced in version 1.2. If we look at this catalog, piece, this is a huge piece. Whether it means how the catalog is refreshed with respect to inventory and pricing very quickly, so that buyer app and seller apps are in sync. Concept of variants, so that as a customer I only see one listing and I can choose different variants of the product, or the customizations, where as a customer I can buy pizza with add-ons like extra cheese or those kind of stuff. And as a seller, how do I show my menu, and as a customer, how do I see a good menu which I'm so used to seeing going to Swiggy and Zomato, right? So there's a host of things which are coming in version 1.2 in the catalog side. Now, as a seller, there are a lot of interesting things. Sellers are being enabled here. They're, they're giving they're getting like a tool of offers. Like, I can, as a seller, I can give offers on different products, category, location wise, right? So I can say that for pizza I will have 10% off today, or I can say in Delhi, for all my products I will have 20% off. Or I can say, for this particular item, let's say margarita pizza, I will have 20% off, right? So whether it's item wise, whether it's restaurant wise, or whether it's category wise, I can create offers and give it to the buyer apps to basically apply those offers on the behalf of the seller or the restaurant, and therefore enable the sellers to basically enable them to you know do marketing on their own, by promotions and those kind of stuff, right? Now, as a restaurant, as a seller, I might have multiple locations, right? I might have location in, let's say, in South Delhi, and North Delhi, and those kind of stuff, right? So there's a concept of location, multi-location of a single seller is there. And it also allows a seller to fulfill, let's say I got a order of a atta, a 1 kg atta, and one location I don't have, I can actually fulfill from another location. So for if the because for customer it doesn't matter if you're fulfilling from my location 1 or location 2, it doesn't matter, right? So there's a whole concept of multi-location support for the seller that is coming in ONDC in version 1.2. Now, as a restaurant, sometimes what happens is that I get so much, so many orders at a particular time that I would want to, disable my restaurant from the listing for, let's say, 2 hours or 1 hour or 5 hours, right? So this whole concept of unsolicited, where I am telling the buyer app, hey, disable my restaurant for from this period to this period, and also then enable my restaurant for this to this period. This mechanism where restaurant seller can control their, uh, being they how the visibility on the buyer app is a very important concept, which ONDC has uh, come up. Not only you can disable yourself as a seller, so all the locations go off, but you can also select a particular location and that location will go off. You can also say this particular item I want to make out of stock or disable or enable, I can do that, right? So it's item level, it has a location level, at a seller level, also at a add-on level. You can also say this add-on is not available. This extra cheese is not available. So that also control is what ONDC is giving in version 1.2. Before I go ahead, any questions from anyone? I've spoken a lot. I thought I'll ask you questions. There's a lot to digest here. Probably, one webinar will not be enough to cover all the, 30, 50, items, or changes which has come in version 1.2. But I'm giving you first a very high level, what is coming, because these are the things, which are important for a lot of folks. So I'm just giving a very high level overview. Of course, we can go deeper into each of these, during the webinar or another webinar. Now, also a concept of minimum order value, right? So I think I have something here. Let's see. What about the offer codes or discount codes? Yeah, so offer code and discount codes, if you have, then basically that is shared with the buyer app, and buyer app will apply those offer code for on your behalf. Uh, so basically, what they will show to the customer is these are the offers which are available. Let's say buy one get one, or 10% off, or get a freebie or if you buy this kind of stuff. These are the offers, and there's the offer code. Buyer app will apply those offer code. They will of course share that with the seller app that I have applied this offer, and seller app of course has to accept, or they can reject that. No, this offer is not correct, or this offer is right. Correct. So that mechanism is there. So yeah. The second question is, so how exactly current NP is going to support for backward compatibility? Should NP support both versions? Yes. So in this, see, when we went from version 1 to 1.1, the version 1 was dropped. It was said, everyone is moving to 1.1. There's no someone who's left behind kind of stuff. From 1.1 to 1.2, what is very clear that you have to support 1.1 and 1.2 both, right? If you're going to 1.2, if someone is 1.1, then you have to honor their request of 1.1 and those kinds, right? So yes, as NP, you will have to support both 1.1 and 1.2. Maybe, a few months or, later part of the year, the 1.1 will get deprecated completely. But as of today, yes.
So one question here.
Yes.
So when I am getting a 1.1 request, so I need to give the 1.1 payload back, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So
That is
all
that
the
is correct.
buyers in the current ONDC, they have supporting 1.2 or any
You're
idea?
saying anyone in ONDC currently supporting 1.2?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, anyone?
Okay, so basically, I'll tell you how the implementation is also happening in ONDC, and still, there's not, it's still being decided right now. Basically, ONDC is trying to sync everyone to do certain features with priority and certain features, later on kind of stuff. So today, They have like 4-5 things. ONDC said let's go live with these 4-5 things in 1.2. And later on, pick another 3-4 things and those kind of stuff. So today, full refresh, catalog refresh, customs, menu, variants, customization. This is the block which is going, in 1.2. I don't think at least to my knowledge, I don't think anyone has done 1.2 or supporting 1.2 right now in any of these. We will, of course, Splotch will be releasing, in couple of weeks, maybe in a week's time, something of this line, one of these features. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So let me continue then with the other things which are coming in 1.2, right? So minimum order value, right? Minimum order value was another ask from a lot of sellers that say, you know what, I don't want to take 100 rupees order, or I don't want to take 200 rupees order. It's just too little for me to, spend my energies. So my minimum order value is 500. If I get a 500, value order, I'll take it. Otherwise, I'll not take it, right? So ODC has now given sellers, a way to communicate to buyer app that my minimum order value is 500 rupees, right? And that is basically is another, very important aspect for sellers viability of fulfilling the order. Category level serviceability, right? So that was another ask that a lot of people had, that I should be able to I have capability to basically, I have fashion, and I deliver fashion across India. But for F&B, I have a serviceability of only 3 kilometers, right? Of a grocery, I have serviceability of 5 kilometers. So category level serviceability is what ONDC has come up. That you can say for this category, I am servicing 3 kilometers only. For grocery, I'm servicing 5 kilometers. And for fashion, I'm servicing the whole India. So that's also a big change, because today the serviceability at the provider level, at a seller level, the seller is saying 3 kilometers. That means all the categories of that seller actually is only 3 kilometers. So we can't, so which is actually doesn't work, because some sellers have grocery and fashion, or some other products in hyperlocal, and they also deliver across India. So to basically address that, category level serviceability has been introduced. Deep link of seller, I already discussed that sellers, buyer apps, once the seller's catalog will come, buyer apps will take that catalog and give a link back to the seller app to share with the seller that here is a link where your products are either going to go live or are live. Now, so I talked about the catalog part, the big change which is coming in the catalog. I talked about the sellers, right? What is being, what are tools which ONDC is giving to sellers so that they can sell more, or they can, make the product out of stock better, and or make them sustainable better with minimum order value. For buyers, there are actually a lot of things which ONDC is coming up here. Real-time tracking. Now, this is another thing which today you will not see in buyer apps, that the pizza getting real tracked, where my pizza, because this is a big thing. If you are a Swiggy customer, Zomato customer, if you're buying from ONDC, if you don't see a real-time tracking of your pizza, it is sort of disturbing to a lot of folks, that I am not able to see where my pizza is. So real-time tracking is a very important piece which is coming in version 1.2. As a customer, I will be able to partially cancel if I ordered, a pizza and biryani, and I want to cancel pizza, while keep my biryani, I should be able to do that. So partial cancellation is coming in what 1.2. RTO support. Let's say customer has said that I customer has refused the order, right? So product is coming back, So the RTO, and who will bear the cost of RTO, right? So if customer has refused, the customer will, can be levied a charge of, delivery charges and RTO cost. If for some reason it is not a customer's fault, then, of course, the seller will bear, restaurant will bear. So all these RTO flows and mechanisms have been introduced in 1.2. Ability for customers to return, which is huge in categories like fashion, right? In fashion, people buy and they do return a lot. So for them to be able to return a product is, and therefore, that's another thing which is coming up in ONDC in 1.2. Delivery SLAs. If as a customer, I have not received a product within a SLA, like say 3 hours or 45 minutes or 30-minute delivery or let's say even 3 days for fashion, right? If I'm not received, then I have basically automatically the orders can get cancelled and sellers can be penalized for that, right? So there's this whole SLAs, TAT breaches, the concept of that is coming here in 1.2. Courier selection. Now today, if you go to any of the buyer apps, right, you will not find option to select a courier. Let's say I want a faster delivery, or I want I want a cheaper delivery because if a product comes in 10 days, but I want like a surface delivery kind of stuff, right? Or a pickup option, right? Let's say I can pick up because saves me 30 rupees. I'm going, via that restaurant. I can actually pick up my pizza or those kind of stuff. So the option to pick up, right? The option to select a type of courier service or a type of courier is coming in 1.2. Is a big ask. It is actually a big thing in 1.2 which is coming. And biggest of all, actually the COD, the payment on delivery part. Today ONDC is completely prepaid. And of course we know that 70% of the commerce actually happens on COD. So payment on delivery, whether that payment is on through cash or through card or something like that, right? Payment or delivery is a big thing which is going to get supported in 1.2, right? So catalog, sellers, and buyers, right? These are the three big buckets which are getting enabled in version 1.2. Now, from the network side, if you look at the network itself, right, it may not be relevant to if you are a buyer or a seller, but it is important that the network is efficient and works very scalable and has trust, right? So RSP, which basically streamlines the whole payments, IGM, which basically streamlines the whole grievance management in ONDC, whether on search, which basically today you know uh, the on search which can actually come directly to NP if it's a full catalog refresh, right? The catalog link part, the category wise on search, right? On search pagination. These are the network level things which are coming, which also very interesting. Then the way network is going to scale and build trust. Right? So yes, that's basically the very high level view of what version 1.2 entails today and is coming up with a lot of big changes. I can see a lot of interesting things which I can see here. Before I get into taking you a little bit more deeper into these things, let me take a few questions here. So is incremental catalog refresh are unsolicited? Seller automatically need to send or buyer will send request? So basically, buyer the buyers are telling the seller app that I want an incremental refresh. Now let me, since this is a question that you have asked and I am addressing, I'm gonna look at incremental refresh in my subsequent slides. So let me answer it to you at that point of time. Let me take the second question. So Rajat, I'll come back to you. Anshuman Bhartiya is asking, what is the deep link of seller? So deep link is nothing but a seller's. So deep link is primarily a mobile app concept. It's basically a link that you give which opens up in the mobile app. So let's say Paytm has only mobile app, right? So for the ONDC, so Paytm may share a deep link of the mobile app. So if you click on that link, it comes as a link. If you click, it will open the mobile app and show you the products where your products are live, basically your store and those kinds of, right? So that's basically what the deep link of the server. Okay, so basically these are the domains. Primarily, these are the categories which are going live in 1.2, which is grocery, F&B, which is restaurant, fashion, BPC, which is beauty and health, right? Electronics, appliances, home and decor, toy and games, agriculture, and health and wellness, right? So looking at like big baskets of the world, Zomatos of the world, and Mintras of the world, and Flipkarts of the world. Those are the categories, primary categories getting enabled in ONDC, and the category naming is also changed from ONDC like NIC codes to basically ONDC colon RET10 and RET11 kind of stuff. Right? And of course the ONDC call them domains, or you can call them category, but after that the whole subcategory structure is also had been standardized by the ONDC. For example, in grocery, these are subcategories like fruits and vegetables, masala and seasoning, oil and ghee. These are already live. I mean, these are also there in version 1.1. So it's not something that it's completely new in version 1.2, but I'm telling you, how that works. Now, I've talked about the multi-location support, right? So as a seller, I have location 1 and location 2, and I should be able to basically tell you know at this location and this address I'm live, and this location this address I'm live, and I should be able to tell you know my serviceability of that location and those kind of stuff, right? So in one location I might have 3 kilometers, another I might have 5 kilometers. Now this is also different, right? I talked about category wise serviceability, that F&B can have a different serviceability, grocery can have different serviceability in the same location. In a different location, the F&B and category might have completely different, serviceabilities, right? Because in some location, I have some staff which can go, let's say I'm in Bombay, I mean, 1 kilometer is good enough. But if I'm like outskirts of Delhi or Gurgaon, then, 5 kilometer is something I want to cover, right? So serviceability location wise, category wise, is also you know something which is has come. Now coming to the question of incremental refresh, right? So incremental refresh is requested by the seller app, by the buyer app, sorry. The buyer app will say I want incremental refresh, and or a full refresh. Basically it works for both. And I want, and ODC has said that you can say when you want the incremental refresh to start. And you can also say that, okay, I don't want any more incremental refresh because my servers are getting overloaded. Let me stop it, right? So you can request to start, then you request to stop, right? And you can also give a time that, I will only take incremental refresh between this time to this time. So I have a start time and stop time, right? And of course, these are more like a API level thing, but it basically is covered in the search dot message dot intent dot tags. Right? In tags, basically you have a code called catalog underscore inc, and in there you say mode start or mode stop, right? That's how it works. And this is another way of saying that I want to basically start at this time and end at this time. Right? So only between 8 to 9 AM I want a catalog refresh. Otherwise I don't want it. So hopefully I answered, I was able to answer that question that so yeah, so Rajat, you have a question. Full catalog and incremental refresh both are requested by buyer app, right? Now, yes, so full catalog and incremental refresh are requested by the buyer app, and therefore the response is coming directly, the answers is coming directly to the buyer app from the seller app. If you're doing search by city, which is done today, the on search, the response of the seller actually comes to the gateway, and then gateway then gives it to the buyer app. Here that's basically the difference here, that that now the refresh, the catalog refresh, full and incremental, is coming directly from the seller NP to the buyer NP who has requested you. So for incremental refresh, I need to send only the changes product which got changed, right? Like new products, any change in price. Yeah, so let me tell you, incremental refresh only covers the products you have already sent, right? So you cannot, in the incremental refresh, you cannot send any new product. It has to be an existing product where the full catalog already you have shared, and now you can sharing the changes. Now, let me also tell you what you can what you can only do in incremental refresh, right? The incremental refresh, you can only do inventory and price changes and availability. So you can't do like attribute changes, like my color has become like, for the same product my color has changed from blue to navy blue or those kind of stuff, right? Because I made some mistake. For that, you have to do the full catalog refresh. You cannot, the incremental refresh is not for that. The whole idea of incremental refresh is to make the payload very, very small. Right? It basically said that the payload has to be small so that it can be exchanged multiple times. If the payload becomes big, then of course it sort of defeats that purpose. So in incremental refresh, items, inventory, price change, availability is something that you can share. If your stores is temporarily closed for online orders, or if your store has been disabled, item has been disabled, provider material are disabling, if some add-ons are getting disabled, if your menu has changed, kind of stuff, or if you want to send some offer, right? These are the only things which you can do in incremental refresh. There are not other things. I don't know if I was able to answer that question for you. I think it was Gino. Yes. So Tej is asking, word was that 1.2 will have an omni collect model where it's buyers, sellers, and LSPs, COD. Everyone can collect money from buyers. Has that been dropped or is it part of 1.2? Yeah, so that's why I said, payment on delivery is coming, is part of the 1.2. So in that, basically the collector of money is actually the LSP, the logistics service provider, which then gives it to the seller app, and then seller app may give the some commission, whatever commission has been agreed with the buyer app through an RSP, right? So that is still part of the 1.2, which has not been dropped. So yeah. So I don't know, Tej, if I was able to answer that question, but yes, COD is part of broadly payment or delivery is part of 1.2. Is there a way to forcefully apply full refresh from seller side? Let's say they added new product. So basically, unless the buyer app has requested you a full catalog refresh, you cannot do that, right? And I will again check it, but to my knowledge, that is what I know, that you cannot do that. The buyer app is saying that only, if I say start, you can start. And only in these times, if I'm specifying, the times, only this time. Otherwise, there's a concept of 30 minutes is what, you can send me at a 30 minutes, interval, right? Only in this case, right? Now, if as a buyer app, I have to take the catalog from you, then I do search by city. So it's always a buyer app solicitation of the catalog. It is always a buyer app's request for a catalog, which results in you sharing the catalog with the buyer app as a seller app. I'm saying you're sharing. I don't think there's any concept of where I can forcefully take my catalog and those kind of stuff, unless buyer app is requesting it. Now we are sending the retailer domain as in version 1.8. Should we change the Yes, yes. The domains have changed. That's why I said, if you look at our previous slide, right, domain was NIC codes previously. Now it will be ONDC RET10 if you're grocery, if FNB is ONDC RET11 and those kind of stuff. Yes. So it has become domain specific. Yes. So I talked about multi-location support, and I've talked about incremental refresh. Uh, Variants, right? Another interesting thing is variants that I talked about, right? That it's same example that I'm taking here. That Alan Solly, I have three colors: coral, green, and yellow. And then I have another variant: small, medium, large. Green, I have 2XL, and then yellow, I have LXL and 2XL. And for each variant, I have different price. It's not that I have same price: 579, 538. So this this example is what ONDC is supporting in 1.2 today for us. And so this is only covered with 7. Like I have 3 size and 1 color. So my items are I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, I7. I will only as a customer see only one product, which is Allen Solly t-shirt. And then I will see color variant and I'll see size variant. Color drop down may have coral green, yellow, and size drop down will have SML and 2XL and those kinds, right? And then as soon as I keep changing the combinations, my pricing will also get reflected according to the variants I've selected, right? Now, of course, how they have done it is they have introduced a concept of parent item ID. It basically tells, it's basically a variant group ID, but it's only captured in the first product, in the item one kind of, or the parent block which you want to show, right? That first item, right? So 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 that basically in a variant group, basically you will specify that I have size and color, and this is where you specify that what are my variants are, and my variants are size and color. You also may have a lot of attributes that you have said, like maybe length and or sleeves and or check whether what's a check pattern of the t-shirt. And so you might have other attributes of the t-shirt, but you're saying as a seller, you're saying for this product my variants are only size and color. And that's then you create a variant group which is size and color, and you tell the buyer app that size and color are the variants, and so please take only size and color. And then of course you send 7 in the same example in the previous, right? There's 7 item IDs, so we'll share 7 item IDs, but item 1 will have the variant group ID, others will not have, because they know that for this item, but they will have the parent item ID as the variant group ID, right? So everyone will connect it through the parent item ID, that for the same parent item ID, these are the products I1 to I7, and therefore, and these are the variants. So therefore, that's how the buyer app will take the data and display, right? So the interesting thing which of course is happening in the version 1.2, and has a lot of impact, right? The customizations I talked about, right? These are the add-ons that classic thing is pizza, right? Pizza, you have choice of crust, whether I want veg half, first half, those kind of stuff, second half non-veg, let's say, those so so let so so in this example, let's say there is a concept of customization and there is a concept of customization group, right? Now, customizations are your standalone add-ons. These are like standalone items, you can say. Let's say pan toast is a customization C1 in this example, right? Cheese blast is a customization C2, and chicken cheese blast is a customization C3. So this comes under one group, which is CG1, which is customization group 1, which is primarily your choice of crust, right? So in this choice of crust customization group, I have three customizations: pan toast, cheese blast, and chicken cheese. And in the second, CG2, which is customized group 2, I will have first veg half, and I may have a double cheese margherita there, paneer tikka there, farmers market or spicy mexicano. Right, my first half of the pizza should be that, and my second non-veg half can be, customization C8, C9, C10, which falls into customization group 3. It may be a bit complicated to understand in the first if you are hearing this for the first time. But broadly, what I want to tell you is there's a concept of add-ons customization, which is primarily your, your, you know, your toppings and those kind of stuff, right? Cheese type, toppings, crust type, and those kind of stuff. And then the concept of customization groups, because you want to group these customization, because these customizations can actually, if you look at it, the groups can be same. Let's say I have a customization, which is, I want a small, medium, large pizza. Then small, medium, large may apply to the pan toast also, the cheese blast also, right? So my customization group will remain the same. But my, but my different, customization choice of the crust. Let's say my customization group is CG1, and I might have in one, let's say I pan toast, I might have a same kind of customization group, and in the cheese blast I might have same kind of customized group. So my customized groups can be same even in the same add-on journey that I might have. So this is basically is a big thing, from architecture point of view, customizations and customization groups. Bit little bit complicated to understand the first time, uh, but definitely interesting. Now this is something, I thought, I'll give you a little bit about idea version 1.2. Tell you about variants, customizations, incremental refresh. Uh, we will of course do follow-on sessions on 1.2 to go deeper into other 20 other things that I talked about. But given that we're almost out of time here, I thought I'd stop here. Any questions from anyone? Anything you want to ask about any of the things that we talked about? Anything you want to go deeper into? And maybe in the next webinar, we will actually take you through the payloads if you're interested in that, and tell you how each of these payloads are getting created with those examples. So one question is RSP live on ONDC. The RSP is going live. The deadline is the end of the month, and we're all working towards to ensure that RSP goes live. Even Plotch RSP that we have, we hopefully should go live next week. So yes, it is going live. It is not live yet. Yeah. Okay, great. So I think with that we'll wrap up here, and thank you. And we look forward to another session on version 1.2 next week. That goodbye. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.